Old Henry and his wife Phoebe loved each other the way people who have lived together for a long, long time. They were simple farm people. Their world was their fruit trees, a cornfield, and a backyard with pigs and chickens. The rest of the world seemed far away, like stars in the sky. Sometimes, Henry worried about death. During his moments of anxiety, he would raise his old voice and say,
"Phoebe, where's my corn pipe?"
One day, in early spring, Phoebe became sick and passed away. Old Henry watched as they laid her body on the earth. Neighbors asked Henry to come and live with them, but he refused. He wanted to be near the place where Phoebe was buried in the earth. He attempted to work around the farm, but returning to an empty house at night proved difficult. At night, he read the newspaper, but most of the time, he just sat there, looking at the floor, wondering where Phoebe was and how soon he would die. For 5 months, he lived like this. Then there was a change. It happened one night after he had gone to bed. There was a bright moon in the sky. Its silver light illuminated the old chairs and table in the bedroom. The moonlight on the chair and the half-open door created a shadow. The shadow resembled Phoebe. She was sitting by the table, just as she had done many times before.
"Phoebe!"
He called in a weak voice.
"Have you come back?"
The shadow in the chair did not move. Henry got up and slowly walked toward it. When he reached the table, he saw that there was nothing on the chair but his old coat. Another night, he thought he saw her again. He felt a soft wind blowing in the room, and when the wind blew away, the shadow of Phoebe vanished too. A third night, while he was sleeping, she came to the bed and placed her hand on his head.
"Henry,
She said gently.
I'm sorry you were alone."
He awoke and was certain he saw her leave the room. Phoebe came back night after night. He waited. Then, one morning, he awoke with a surprising new thought. Perhaps she was not dead. Maybe Phoebe had simply gone away. They had argued about the corn pipe, and she had left the house. Yes, that was it. She was always making jokes about leaving him, but this time she had really gone. That morning, he started to walk to the nearest neighbors.
"Hello, Henry!"
Said Farmer Dodge, who was taking grain to market.
"Where are you going this morning? Have you seen Phoebe?"
"Phoebe? Who?"
Farmer Dodge knew that Henry's Phoebe was dead. "My Phoebe," Henry said sharply.
"Who do you think I mean?"
"You must be joking.
Said Farmer Dodge.
You cannot be talking about your Phoebe. She is dead."
"Not my Phoebe. She left me this morning while I was sleeping. We argued about my corn pipe last night, and that's why she left. But I can find her. She went over to Matilda Race's farm. Yes, that's where she is."
Henry started to walk quickly down the road.
"Oh, this poor old man is sick in his mind. He's been living alone for too long."
Dodge said to himself. Henry met no one until he reached Matilda's farm. His Phoebe and Matilda Race had been good friends. Phoebe must be here. He opened the gate and walked to the house. Matilda opened the door.
"Oh. Henry, what a surprise."
"Is Phoebe here?"
Henry asked.
"Phoebe? Who Phoebe?"
"My Phoebe, of course.
Henry smiled a little.
You don't have to keep it a secret. She's here, isn't she?"
He looked inside the house. "Well," Matilda Race said.
"Poor old man, come in and sit down while I get you some coffee and food. I'll take you to Phoebe. I know where she is."
While Matilda worked in the kitchen, she talked to Henry, but he wasn't listening. He was thinking about Phoebe. He decided she wasn't there.
"I'll go now."
He said, getting up.
"I think she went over to the Murray farm."
Then he was out on the road again. It was like this for many weeks. Every night, he returned to his house to see if Phoebe had come back. Soon, Everyone in the area knew old Henry and answered his questions. I haven't seen her, they would say, or no, Henry, she hasn't been here today. It was in the 7th year of looking when Henry came to Red Hill. It was late at night, and he was tired and sleepy. Years of walking and very little food had made him thin. After a while, he fell asleep with his head resting on his knees. When he awoke, it was still dark. The moon shone brightly through the trees. Henry saw a light move across the road. It danced through the woods. Was it Phoebe? He jumped up. He was sure he could see her in that light. Yes, there she was, the young Phoebe he had known many years ago. Suddenly, he remembered her young beauty, her warm, friendly smile, the blue dress she had worn the day he first met her.
Phoebe!
He called.
Have you really come? Have you really answered me?
He began to feel young and strong again. He ran to follow the moving light. Then a soft wind blew through the leaves, and she was gone.
Phoebe!
He cried.
Do not leave me! Please, please stay with me!
He ran as fast as his old legs would go. When he came to the top of the hill, he looked down into the valley of shadows below. Tears of happiness came into his eyes when he saw Phoebe again. Yes, there she was, down in the valley, smiling up at him. She was in the same blue dress. She waved a hand and seemed to say, "Come, come with me." Henry felt the strong pull of a new world where he and Phoebe would always be together. He gave a happy cry.
Wait, Phoebe, wait, I'm coming.
The next day, some farmer boys found Henry at the bottom of the hill. His body was broken. There was a soft, happy smile on his face, the same smile he had known when Phoebe was alive.